Yes, Dungeons and Dragons is about the magic items. We've got the combat, we've got the RPG, we've got the narrative, we've got the leveling up with experience points and gaining new powers. But there is nothing like playing a character and having magic items and upgrading your magic items. And that in itself is its own tactica. One of the ideas that I pushed up to my channel here was understanding leveling up. This idea that when you level up, yes, your abilities increase, your hit points increase, but at the same time, you need to make sure your magic gear is increasing, either with what you find in the adventure or what you buy. Level 1, 2, and 3, you've got a +1 longsword, you're doing okay. If you're level 8 and you've got that same +1 longsword, you're a little bit behind the dice curve. So within that framework, as an adventurer, primary magic items that add to the dice or replicate abilities, magic armor, magic weapons, various potions. If we're on the magic side, wands and magic staves, right? The ability to cast fireball, to cast magic missile, to cast sleep, things that can boost our character's combat ability. But what about utility magic items? You know, there's a whole chart of wondrous magic items. And if you're playing Advanced Dungeons and Dragons and you don't remember the chart or you don't know the chart because there's so many charts to know in AD&D, all you have to know is those times where occasionally in AD&D, if I'm running an adventure really quick, or if I'm in that moment, it's like, Fritz, we want to play some AD&D, go. And I pull out an adventure idea. I will run an encounter and stock the treasure real time, right? Every monster's got a treasure type and a percentile. So they'll fight the dragon, and I'll say, you see the dragon on the treasure hoard, you fight the dragon, let's search the treasure hoard. And my players love that. They love that, where now we've defeated the dragon and let's randomly, they know randomly together, we're going to roll the dragon's treasure. And I think what's exciting about this aspect is the fact that if it's pre-populated, it's going to be some good loot if I do it ahead of time. But they're like, well, it's fixed, right? The discovery is just Fritz reading off a list. And that's fun too. But the real fun in the moment is the players feeling like they have agency over how much treasure they're going to walk away with. I have them roll the treasure types. I have them roll the gold pieces, the silver pieces, the copper pieces. And you can see like roll high, roll high, roll high. If one player is rolling high, I try to have everyone roll. If one player is rolling high, the party's like, just, you're going to roll everything. Fritz, you're going to roll absolutely everything because like we're just rolling crazy. So when you get to the wondrous magic items, it's always a lot of fun because if there's a lot of interesting war gear in there. If you roll low, it's okay. If I roll low and I get something okay, maybe I'll keep it. I'll probably sell it. But as soon as you get into 80 plus or 80 higher, and you're getting into some tomes and some of the more interesting items, right away you're like, I just need to roll high. Like if I roll 80 or higher or 90, like I don't know what it is on that table he's going to look up, but it's going to be very, very interesting, fantastic, amazing, and awesome. So with that in mind, utility magic items, wondrous items, items that don't necessarily cause damage, but can be utilized in the game. Perfect example, right? Bag of holding. Usually at some point in AD&D at a certain level, you get a bag of holding. Level 5, level 6, level 7. But there are other items like a portable hole. You've got this round circular piece of cloth. You throw it on the ground or you hang it on a wall, and it's literally a hole to a pocket dimension. Or immovable rods. These kind of metallic gold color rods with a button on the end, and you press the button and it freezes in place. There are numerous items that if you are creative in that moment, usually it'll be a thief type class because a lot of these items will work with a thief type class perfectly. You can access things in a dungeon or you can access things in an adventure to gain an incredible, amazing advantage. It's almost like as if you're like level 6, 7, or 8, maybe you're 10, because you're going to need some gold for this. And at the same time, you need gold to not only pay for your level ups, but pay for the rest of your gear. But since generally speaking, as a thief, you're not moving into heavy arms and armor, you can divert some of that gold. And maybe on a role-playing side, you've got connections with your guild and things like that. 5 or 6 immovable rods, the ability to click on and off and build a ladder or build something that can spike doors or close areas of the dungeon. That's extremely, extremely powerful. So at a certain point, and different wondrous items tend to favor different character classes, although they're usable by everybody. The unique, well, a couple of them aren't, but for the most part, they're usable by everybody. Ever-smoking bottle, things like that. In exploring those, looking and saying, my character class, what are some of these items that I can utilize to gain a role-playing advantage, to gain a dungeon exploration advantage, to gain tactica advantages, not necessarily in combat rolling the dice, because I have my +2 longsword for that. I've got my chainmail +1 for that. I've got my crossbow bolts +2 or magic crossbow for that perspective. I think as a character, you do want to divert a little bit of gold and you want to get into those wondrous items. So putting it out there to my fellow players, what's the tactica on that? What are some of those must-have wondrous items? And how do you utilize them as a player with your character class in the game?